Okay, I can only assume that since the last video got such great views, that you want another sword to knife video. So I thought about that and I thought, what can I show you? That'd be kind of cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a concept and how you might apply it, right? This is a concept from a Japanese and Korean sword, and then how we might apply it with the knife in Kali, Eskrima, Anis, whatever. So it'll be kind of interesting. I've done this concept both in more than one Japanese style and in a Korean sword style too. So it's kind of a neat little thing. Let me show it to you first, and then we're gonna cut away so that you can get a vantage point that you can't with me by myself. But we'll get into that in just a minute. So one thing that I noticed going through my last video is I really needed to hold the sword a little bit more here. It's been a while since I've done Japanese and Korean sword work, and it's been since 2019 since my last seminar on sword, which was the Korean sword. So I'm gonna grab this, and then what we're gonna do, right, is we're gonna work from a clash, and I'm gonna show you that in a second with a partner, but you'll see. And the clash is gonna be here, right? We're gonna be in this clash, and I'm gonna get pushed back, but I might push forward, and as I get pushed back, I'm just gonna step with my left leg and cut down. In Japanese and Korean swordsmanship, you're always holding at the top with your right hand and at the bottom with your left. There we go. A little better for holding. So if my left leg is forward, I step out and then I cut down as he pushes back, because he thinks I'm going to resist, and instead of resisting, I turn and make that cut. Now, if I end up in a spot where my right leg is forward, I'm just going to step up with my left leg and make that cut. Step up with my left leg and make that cut. So now, since I don't have a training partner, I did do this in 2010 with my dad. We did this very concept. So I'm going to show you a clip of that, just so you can see it with a person. The quality of the video isn't going to be that great, but we'll go to that clip and then we'll come back. Okay, now, how do we use that aspect, that concept, that principle, that technique with a knife? Usually when somebody's coming down at you with a knife, you have a flinch response, and that flinch response looks a lot like an outward block. But you can't stay here, because if you stay here, you're gonna get hit. And if you, I made that mistake on my black belt test, and you might be able to see it. Master Ram came down, well, he was a second degree at that time. Second degree, no, he was the first degree. He was the first degree at that time. And he came down, and he was much, bigger and stronger than me, and just powered right through me. And I learned a lot from that. So, right, so when you're here, you might want to move, right? But what we typically see in Kali and other Filipino arts is something from hubad. Hopefully I'm saying that right, because if you say that wrong, it's like undressing in a provocative way. But, so typically, right, we do a pass, right? So it's, right, so we pass, and we might pass into a C-clamp, right? Get on the other side. Right, that might be one way to do it if we want to get on the other side, or put the hand down and then come in, trap, try to get the knife, what have you. It's hard to show, I can see it in my mind, but I don't know how well it translates without a training partner here. So again, you can do a pass like you see in hubad. I'll do a shadow hubad video eventually, right? Hubad, it's either here or, so we either pass, or if that comes down, we would come in and we'd wrap. We'd wrap the arm and try to get in and make hits if we're inside. But we could also use this concept, and it's kind of fun to play with. So again, you don't have a training partner here to show, but let's look at that. You know, person comes in, and what I do is I just step to the side, and I can parry, and then I can cut with the knife. So I can just turn, right, and cut with the knife. It's the same thing as turning here, but there's probably going to be more in here. If I end up here, I can start with my left, and then I can, or I can come here instead. So again, we're always, in this case, going to be stepping to the left. This is kind of an interesting concept that you can play around with and have some fun with. But just some other way to look at this. So just one more time with the sword, so you just will remember. Here, pushing in, coming back, stepping, and cutting. Or pushing in, coming back, stepping out, and cutting. So that is just a basic thing that we can work with. Looking at how we can use Japanese and Korean sword and kind of use same principles for Kali. So that was fun. Listen, we've just gotten a lot more subscribers. If you're a subscriber, I thank you. And if you're not a subscriber, please come on and subscribe. We have a lot of people, both beginners, intermediate, and advanced, who are connected to this channel. And once we get 500 subscribers, we'll have a community tab and we can communicate that way. That'll be fun. And if you want to like, that's great. And that's it for now. I hope you had fun. Play around with it. Get your training knives, your training swords. Always use training weapons so that you don't harm yourself by accident. This is certainly no time, you know, to end up in the hospital. You don't want to do that, right? So anyway, that is it. I'll see you next time. Keep training.